Well, welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I've got something special cooking up for you, if you know what I mean, because we've already done the catching. For the Dungeness crab season opener 2023, November 4th, we already got our crab. So today we're gonna cook it up. I've got a special boil recipe for you. I'm doing it my way, Captain Rick's way, and I'm here to show you how it's done. If that's what you wanna see, stay tuned and I've got something for you. All right, so here's what we're gonna need to get this recipe going. Got these beautiful, beautiful 6-inch crabs, 6.5-inch crabs that we picked up on our day out. Absolutely fantastic quality out in the San Francisco Pacific Ocean, out of the Golden Gates. And then what we're gonna need is we're gonna need a couple of onions cut up. We're gonna need to cut up some golden potatoes. I've got the Adele's Cajun andouille sausage. You can pretty much use any sausage you want, but I recommend the andouille sausage. Then I've got the Caribbean jerk seasoning. I've got the whole peppercorns, garlic. I'm gonna use the beef chuck neck bones, and that's gonna start the base of our sauce. And I've got the Old Bay seasoning, that's mandatory. You'll need about a half cup, maybe a full cup of that, so we'll see. That's why I've got this extra here. You'll need the paprika to spice it up. Use a little or as much as you like. We're definitely gonna need some Blue Moon, not only for the cooking, but definitely to drink, you know, because that's what we do. We're gonna need the lemon, lots of fresh lemon. We need about 3 of those. We need some parsley and the most expensive corn that you can find, because this is all that they had at Bel Air. I mean, usually in the summer we can get these for like 10 for $1, but I got these for $5, guys. I'm going expensive. This is one of those recipes where you got good crab, you might as well get some good corn, right? So I think that pretty much covers everything. Stick with me and I'm gonna show you what we do. All right, so this crab has been sitting in our cooler for about 24 hours. Now, generally, you want to cook this as quick as possible, less than 24 hours of the day that you're catching them. But because I get busy with the boat cleaning, I have about 24 hours to decide what I'm going to do. So I like to put these crabs on top of the ice, not covered in the water. Just put them on top of the ice and maybe put a little bit of ice on them. And then they should stay fresh for about 24 hours. You don't want to go any more than 48 hours tops, but I think we've got the crab that we can use here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take the carapace off of this, we'll cut these in half, and then we'll start working on all of these. I don't have to show you these on camera as we do them, but we're gonna take care of this, and as soon as we're done with that, I'll show you when it's complete. All right, so I've done the cleaning already. Like I said, I didn't wanna bore you with all of that, but all I did was I took the carapaces off, I cleaned it, took the face off, the apron off, and I halved them all, and I cleaned them pretty good. So we're gonna leave them just in halves. Nice portion for everybody. It's just gonna be me and my daughter tonight, but we're gonna use these up. And since we're going out again after I get my boat fixed, we're gonna get some more. So let's see how this turns out. But again, this is the cleaning. So there you have it. All right, so to make things easier to deal with, and I didn't want to show you all the chopping and stuff, so here's what I've done, just to show you. So I chopped up the parsley, I have the lemons, I have the corn, have the andouille sausage. I've pretty much left the neck bones alone. I went ahead and diced up the onions. I have the potatoes, and then I'm ready to start cooking. You ready? Said this is a super simple recipe. I'm not gonna complicate things. It's a crab boil. The most important thing is the base. After that, throw in the crab, let it sit, and then we've got dinner. Stand by. Okay, so here we go. I'm just gonna add some olive oil, maybe about 3 tablespoons. Okay. Once that comes up to temperature, then I'm gonna add my diced onion. Okay. We stir that up. I'm gonna go ahead and brown that up. You want to get this onion to a nice brown. caramelized brown. I'm gonna get all that flavor out of the onion. Okay, and here's the time I would like to add probably my whole peppercorns. I don't know, give it about a handful, I would say. This is a handful. Go ahead and add it now. Stir it in. So what we want to do with that peppercorn is we want that peppercorn to cook, and then when we add the butter, that butter is going to crispy up that peppercorn and extract the flavor out of it. If you use crushed peppers already, I mean, you can, but I wouldn't. Like I said, this recipe, you're going to get that crispy peppercorn, and then it's going to infuse the flavor of that the crispy peppercorn into the I'm going to call it a roux. I don't know what else to call it. And you'll see why I call it a roux, because I am going to add a little bit of flour to thicken it up, because I like my boils thick and very saucy and flavorful. It's not just a soup. Okay, this will be the time I add 2 sticks of butter. Okay, and the butter is going to help crispy up the peppercorn. Okay, so we'll mix that in. And now the peppercorn is going to start to fry alongside the onions. It's okay if the butter renders down, that's fine. Okay, we'll give that a minute. So at this stage, you're going to see the peppercorn starting to almost fry up with that butter. And that's exactly what you want. Like I said, you want crispy peppercorns. That way you can eat those peppercorns if you happen to get it inside your portion. It's better that way. You don't want a raw peppercorn. It's very strong in flavor. But a crispy peppercorn, it's something out of this world. You guys go to a fancy restaurant and you ever get what you thought was a crab eyeball, it's actually a crispy peppercorn. So we'll give that another minute or so. And then what I like to do is keep the garlic whole like this. So this is probably about 2 cloves. If you like a lot of garlic, and I do, add 2 cloves. And we'll let that go alongside the peppercorn. Now we're extracting the garlic flavor out of this as we go. Okay, so we'll let that run for about a minute, or until you can start seeing the garlic brown up a little bit. And you can smell also when the garlic is infused and not raw. So we'll let that go for a minute or so. Okay, so it's been about a minute, and I'm constantly stirring to make sure that nothing burns and everything cooks evenly. I want the browning of the onion, and I want the browning of the garlic, and I want the peppercorns to continue to fry up to get crispy. Once I see the garlic turn color, then I know it's time for the next step, which is to add some flour, which is what I forgot to mention earlier. And that flour is going to thicken up this boil. Okay, so I've gone about 2 minutes, and I'm keeping a close eye to make sure nothing burns. Then I'm going to toss in about, I want to say, 1/4 cup of flour, just white flour. Okay, and we're going to stir that in. Cook this flour out so it's not raw. Constantly stir, that way you don't get lumps. Okay, just keep stirring. Do that for about a minute or two until you can see the flour brown up a bit. This is the time that I like to add my seasoning. So we're gonna do the Caribbean jerk. We'll start with about a quarter cup of that seasoning. We'll go ahead and add a quarter cup of the Old Bay. Okay. We're gonna stir that on in. Get that flavor in there. That is what you want. A nice sizzling bath of butter, garlic, onions. Get all of that seasoning in there. So this is around the time I like to add my my neck bones. Now the neck bone is optional, guys, but I like it because it gives it a nice, rich, meaty flavor, and it does not overpower the crab. Okay, plus you get a little extra meat if you're adding pork, and you don't want just seafood. Consider this a surf and a turf. Just like that. Right about now is the time I like to add my potatoes. I'll add my whole onion, stir that around for a little bit longer. You can see everything thickening up, and that's okay. Smells so good. Then I've already opened up my Blue Moons. Add it in there. Okay, and you can use any citrus beer, but I like the Blue Moon flavor. You want the oranges. You can even use Shock Top if you wanted to. All right, and this is our base, guys. This is the start of our boil. Okay, and as it's called, a boil, I'm going to let this boil up just a little bit. We'll get it up to temperature, then I'm going to add a little bit more water, and then I'll show you the next step. All right, you see how nice and thick this is getting? This is exactly the consistency you want for right now at this stage. Once everything cooks in just a tad bit, then we'll add all of the water that we need, and we'll start adding the remainder of the ingredients, which is coming up, so stay tuned. It smells so good, guys. And at this stage is where I like to throw in the andouille sausage. Probably about 5 minutes after, you stir things around a little bit. Probably about 5 minutes of simmering, letting that thicken up, letting that flour do its work, letting the flavors incorporate, letting the potatoes cook up a bit. Give that about a 5-minute cook. I'll be right back. So the 5 minutes have been up. I boiled up about a gallon of hot water. I like to use hot water instead of cold water. That way everything stays nice and cooked off as we go. And that way it doesn't take so long to come back up to temperature. I'm gonna boil up another gallon and come back to this in a little bit. Okay, so we'll stir that up. As you can see, this is actually turning into a boil already. Oh. I'm working one-handed, by the way. I'm trying to cook and show you this. We're gonna go ahead and add the lemons in at this stage. While we're at it. And that's it. We'll let that boil off. I think I'm going to add another gallon of water, of hot water. So I'll be right back. I'm probably really complicating this, but you know what? I am not a professional chef, but I cook with my heart, and this is what I'm doing. And if you guys are going to want to try this recipe, you're just going to have to do it the way that I've always done it. I've added the lemon after adding about a gallon of water, and now I'm going to go ahead and drop in the corn. All right, you can see this boil's coming together nicely. We'll let that cook up a bit. Then I'll add the rest of the gallon of hot water. We're going to taste it for flavor, and then we'll adjust the seasoning accordingly. If we need some more Old Bay, we'll do that. If we need to add some more paprika, we'll do that. So stick by. So I would say this is the most important stage. Okay, the boil's coming along. And I'm going to take some of this. We're going to give it a taste. That's very bland. Stand by. I don't think I added enough of the Old Bay for a reason, because it is salty. You add it as you need it. So I added about a quarter cup. Now I'm going to add another, because we use 2 gallons of water. It's perfectly fine. So if you look, this is about a half a container of the Old Bay. I'm going straight in with this. Okay? I'm probably going to need more, and that's fine. But like I said, you season as you go. It's important that you do that. Otherwise, you end up getting your boil way too salty, and we don't want that. So we've got the boil coming up to a rolling boil, as its name is called. And I'm going to give this another 5 minutes to kind of infuse all the flavors, and to also incorporate the additional Old Bay seasoning. I tasted it again, and I think we're going to need more, and that's fine. Like I said, you don't want it salty. You just want to keep adding to taste. Because what we are going to do is when we add our crab, it'll get us a nice flavor once we add a little bit more. And then we'll take the rest of the Old Bay, or some of that Old Bay, and we'll sprinkle it on, and that'll give it that additional salt that you're looking for. Man, I can't wait. I am so hungry. Look at this. Oh, my mouth is drooling. All right, I'm doing this recipe on the fly. You know what I think I need after tasting again? Garlic powder. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. We'll see what happens in a minute, but I think it's gonna be just fine. I added enough garlic in the beginning, but somehow I'm not getting that garlicky flavor. So I just added some granulated garlic to give it a little bit more oomph, if you know what I'm saying. Okay, so as an at-home chef, I do what I do. So if you guys are gonna use the recipe that I'm making, I highly recommend you add about 2 tablespoons of garlic, which I've already added. And then, if you can find this Knorr's chicken powder, add about 2 tablespoons of that as well. That did it. That did it, for sure. I'm gonna throw the recipe down below so you guys can follow. But originally, when I showed you all of the ingredients, I had to modify it just slightly. And again, I'm just doing everything on the whim, and I'm telling you, this recipe is good. It's really good. Good. So here is the special moment you've been waiting for. The crab. Let's add the crab. Now look at this boil. We're ready to go. And I'm putting butter in the microwave so we can have some butter dipping sauce. But I'm going to throw in the crab at this time. Yeah. It's seasoned perfectly with everything that I just told you. Let's do it. I've only got about 1,000 pounds of crab here. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. How am I gonna eat this all? I don't know. Here we go. I'm gonna put a top on this and let it do its work. Be right back. All right, now I'm gonna put the top on. We'll let that do its thing for about 8 minutes and we'll check in on it. We'll stir it up. We'll see if it turns color. And that's all that we're doing. All right, so lastly, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add the parsley in here. Let's check this out. So all I'm gonna do is throw in the parsley. And there you go, guys. That is our crab boil. How amazing does that look? We'll let that parsley steam in there for a bit, maybe 2 minutes, and then we're gonna serve. I'll be right back. Doesn't that look amazing? It tastes amazing, trust me. I've tasted it so many times already. It's absolutely phenomenal. You gotta try it. All right, guys, the moment you've been waiting for. I got the hot gloves on. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the top off of this crab. Ooh. And then we're gonna serve. So let me pull out some of this crab. Oh, man, oh man, here we go. Let's try to get a good grip. Let's start with that. Grab the bottom ones, because those are the ones that have been simmering in the sauce. Yep, just like that. I'm going for the bottoms. Holy my. Guys, this already looks great. And then I took the potatoes out. So I'm just gonna add a few potatoes in the corners. Let me see if I can dig for some corn, guys. Here. Definitely need some corn. Do not mind the plating because, like I said, this is kind of rustic anyway. I'm digging for some andouille sausage. Let me throw that in there. Let me find another andouille sausage. Add in there. Let me find another piece of sausage. Hopefully I can find some. Can I? Yep. There it is. Throw in another piece of corn. And what I like to do, I'm going to actually first, I'm going to take some of the Old Bay seasoning. Like I said, you salt it just enough that you can do this additionally. Add some more of that. Lastly, boom. And follow me to the table. And there you go. That's it, guys. Now, like I said, it's a super simple boil recipe. I did have to modify it slightly, but check this out. There you go. There is our Dungeness crab boil. With potatoes, golden potatoes, some corn. I sprinkled on a little bit of Old Bay, added some parsley. Oh my gosh, you know what I did forget? Lemon. Yeah, we'll throw some lemon in there. And that's it. I'm not even gonna show you the cracking part of it, but I'm gonna tell you right now, it's so good. I'll be right back. Okay, so I thought about one more thing that'll make this even better. I'm gonna take some of that boil and I'm gonna throw it on top to finalize it. And that's it, I promise. This is the last thing. Here we go. So I put it in a little bowl and I'm just gonna sprinkle it on top or put it on top. And that's it. Guys, this is the boil recipe. You gotta give it a shot. I promise you, it's really good. I've tasted it at least 4 or 5 times and I modified it slightly. I added some garlic powder, some of that chicken powder, and then that was it. And after that, everything came out good. I'm going to share the recipe down below. I want you guys to give it a shot and tell me what you think. So anyway, I'm glad you were able to at least see it. We're about to eat. Enjoy. Give it a try. And I'll see you on the next video, guys. Thank you for watching. See you later. All right, so remember when I told you it was the last thing? Well, I got one last thing. We need the butter dipping sauce. Check this out. Okay, so this is butter, garlic powder, and then parsley. That's it. That's all there is to it. Hot butter, garlic powder, parsley, and that's gonna supplement our sauce. That's it. I'm done. Give it a try. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching. Take care.